Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Apex Season 3. I am Atlas, joined by the wonderful Wolf, and we have got one hell of a matchup for you today. Lunatic-Hai taking on LW Blue, and the stakes could not be higher, Wolf.
That's right, winner will advance to the semifinals, so this is a very important match for both of these teams, and you know, there's been a lot of roster shuffling going on between the two of them. Of course, we'll hold off on spoiling the rosters for now, but you know, there's a lot of asterisks going into this one.
Yeah.
Who's playing which position and which team is going to show up for both of these rosters who have had so many shuffles, health problems, and disciplinary issues throughout the last few weeks. So these teams don't necessarily look to be on the same full form that we saw in the round of 16 group stage here in the round of 8.
Yeah, exactly right. And of course, you guys know that Giannis has actually made his way back. He's better after his collapsed lung. So thankfully, Giannis will be on the roster, but there are more mix-ups to be expected here. Not necessarily a full surprise, but I'm excited to see what LW Blue do have planned in today's matchup. And Lunatic-Hai, we'll see who they're going to be fielding as well, because this could be a very, very interesting game. And both of these teams have always wanted to meet each other in a final. It was the same case in Season 2 when LW Blue were looking like that team that were going to be able to take it all, but then RunAway just like disposed of them so beautifully in that semifinal match. And then we got the final that we did with the reverse sweep from Lunatic-Hai. So we'll see whether Lunatic-Hai are going to be able to perform some more sweep actions, but I feel like both of these teams wanted this to be a final.
Absolutely. This very well could be a final. It is our final match of the round of 8, so you can think of it as a final.
Hey, yes, it is a final.
It is a final.
In one way.
So, see a lot of fans here to check out Lunatic-Hai and LW Blue. A Giannis fan specifically there, saying that you're the main tank. They've got their main tank back now, back from the hospital. He's recovered. So fans here getting hyped. And Pine, throw Eska away.
What?
Or Eska throw Pine away, I should say.
Yeah, you'd hope so, because that was not a picture of Pine.
Sure. So, wow, Eska, you're so cool, so that sign says. So, a lot of fans here on both sides, and Lunatic-Hai, oh man, I don't even know what to say about this one. Rute hung, you splash.
It did nothing?
It did nothing, but Zumba's in the secondary photo there. So, as you can see, fans on both sides of the coin here, but Lunatic-Hai, the most famous organization in Overwatch here in Korea. They have the majority fan vote in terms of the audience. The crowd is louder, larger, but will they be the favorites tonight? A lot of people point towards Luxury Watch Blue.
Yeah, well, this is the thing that's really difficult, right? Because we've got Season 2 champions in Lunatic-Hai. They were garnered by a lot of critics to be the best team in the world, especially earlier on in this season. However, their results haven't necessarily been along those lines. The first initial reverse sweep against Kongdoo Panthera didn't exactly give us a whole lot of confidence. We are going to have a look at some highlights though, ladies and gentlemen.
정말 생각하고 싶지 않아요. 하루 전에 야누스가 갑자기 입원하게 되어서 2시간 맞춰보고 나오게 돼가지고 게임하면서 딱 한 생각만 했어요. 내가 더 잘해줘야지. 저희 전력의 5%도 안 보여준 것 같아요.
지난 경기 좀 어렵게 좀 있는 것 같아요. 3대0으로도 충분히 이길 수 있었던 것 같은데 좀 방심을 했다. 만약 최종전에서 지게 되면 끝인데 이겨야겠다는 생각입니다.
루나틱은 1시즌부터 약간 숙명의 라이벌 같은 존재였어요. 저희보다 위에 있거나 눈높이에 있었는데 지금 좀 밑에 있는 거예요. 동행하던 이제 라이벌이 없어질 것 같으니까 좀 안쓰럽죠? 루나틱의 구멍은 기도 선수인 것 같은 게 돌아도 마지막 포인트에서 기도 선수가 루시우를 자르려다가 용검으로 벽에 막 부비고 약간 그런 플레이 그것 때문에 루나틱이 졌던 것 같아요.
솔직히 인정합니다. 그것 때문에 우울했어요.
구멍은 후배 파야죠. 더 커지게.
이번 관전 포인트는 힐러 차이, 케어면이나 실력면 그런 걸 따져봤을 때 누나 선수는 아직 재용이 형한테는 못 미친다 생각해요. 국대 아니잖아요. 세븐맨이신 것 같은데 좀 더 분발하세요.
감사합니다. 저 이제 다음부터 못 나올 것 같아요.
결승에서 원래 EW 만나고 싶었는데 좀 아쉽게 됐고요. 그렇다고 봐드리진 않습니다.
지금 약간 삐끗하긴 했지만 대처법 거의 다 알았으니까 내려가시면 될 것 같아요. 루나틱 안녕.
Overwatch Apex Season 3, energized by Hot 6, quarterfinal. Today's matchup, LW Blue, Lunatic-Hai.
Alright, so you may have been a little bit confused at the fact that Luna was the one speaking there, but not actually in that hands-in. So he's going to be starting off the field, and Pine is going to be replacing him.
That's right.
At least the first match.
And as you can see, our green-haired friend Giannis, the go button here for the team. He's back in the roster. He will be starting this evening. And on the side of Lunatic-Hai, it is Guido, not who are you, who will be in the opening roster. So a lot of people wondering, fans wondering, why he's been benched for so long. Only a mild disciplinary action was taken is what we were told. That's all we've known. That's all we've heard from Lunatic-Hai. But yet again, in this important match, he is absent from the roster. He will not be starting today. So in a lot of ways, we're seeing the A game of this team. Luxury Watch Blue, let's take a look at their highlights.
Flower. Pine. Janus. Meko. 새별비. Gambler. LW Blue.
Man, that was one hell of a res, that highlight clip for Gambler. Of course, the man who's played only Mercy and Lucio hasn't been flexing like some of these teams have to some other interesting picks, most notably things like Harry Book's Soldier. See whether this is going to be his time to switch things up, but the beautiful thing about LW Blue is that they probably don't have to, because their second support now, Pine, is able to do basically anything.
Pine is such an insane flex. He's played all types of DPS. He'll play the Widow, the Ana, the Zenyatta. You give him, other DPS roles. He's played Pharah before. Genji's his most played, but he's also number 2 on Sombra. So the flexibility of Pine is insane. Once just a streamer, everyone was wondering when he's going to finally appear for Luxury Watch in the main stage on television. It's here, it's this season, and he's carried his team this far. Can he help them close it out? He's on the starting roster here. If it calls for more support-oriented play, perhaps you could see Luna subbed in later on, but they're starting things off with a bang here, bringing Pine, the main DPS player, who's subbing into this support role. He's already shown it several times before. He can play it.
Yeah, the flexibility of this guy is actually really impressive, and of course the reason he was starting for Flower instead earlier on in the season was because of Flower's injury. But we are going to have a look at Lunatic-Hai now.
Guido.
야, 또 맞았어요. 이 선수 잘 쏘거든요. 아나를 괜히 잘하는 게 아니기 때문에 정말 많이 잘 쏘고.
류재홍.
어그로 너무 잘 끌어줬네요, 미로. 네. 다 맞았어요.
미로.
원시분도 있기 때문에 그렇죠. 뒤에 넣어 카라도. 와, 완전 역할이 같이 죽었어요. 에스카. 3점이 보이는데요. 3점 보이는데요. 오, 에스카 메인.
에스카.
와, 이거 굉장히 많이 주는데요.
그렇게 혼자서 얼마를 미는 거예요. 와, 마지막까지.
루시오, 보니까 차이에 도착한 역시 쫓아내고요. 네. 아무튼
Toby.
속주입니다. 자, 근데
생체 소리 같은 것들도 한번 같이 넣어줘야 되는 거고요.
공격작한 뒤에 호비. 자, 중바 둘.
중바세.
네, 계속은 안 되겠다. 이제 브레이크 한 번 걸 때가 됐고.
Zumba. Lunatic-Hai.
Your Season 2 champions, everyone. And I want to start things off with a little bit of an analogy, Wolf, if you'll bear with me
I'll
just
bear
for
with
a
you.
moment. I think of Lunatic-Hai as a team that base themselves off mastery. They're incredibly good at finding a composition or a plan and practicing it and executing it so perfectly. That's why they were known as this incredible dive composition team, because dive was so popular for so long and they became so good at it over time. It's almost like they download and then once they finish that download, they feel unstoppable. Change, not necessarily their best friend. And we'll see whether LW Blue are going to be able to change some things up here and try and make them uncomfortable, because honestly, when they look in the zone, when they're doing what they want to do, they look unstoppable a lot of the time. We'll see whether HuoYu is going to be an answer to that, maybe a difficulty here for Lunatic-Hai to overcome. But otherwise, I feel like they still do have so many strong points.
Well, flexibility is definitely not one of them, and if they've downloaded the code, if they have the plan, perhaps there are a few bugs here, as Guido just has not quite performed at the level of HuoYu at this point in time. Considered the weak link of the team. We are headed to Nepal for our opening control map here. A map that historically we have seen very good play for LW on, but you know, this is a map we've seen Lunatic-Hai fail on control many, many times. It's important for Luxury Watch to get ahead early because their later map types for them are their weak points. So to take these early ones is very important. As the series goes longer, maybe a struggle for them to recover if Lunatic-Hai gets the momentum. Remember, the crowd is in Lunatic-Hai's favor. It's a massively Lunatic-Hai favored crowd. You're playing against the crowd. There's a lot of extra pressure here for Luxury Watch Blue. So taking this map would be huge for them.
That most certainly would, but this is such a big deal because Nepal is the one control map that Lunatic-Hai look the best on. They're 3-0 on this map, whereas LW Blue 1-0 and 2. So like 1 victory, no ties, and 2 losses on this map. So could go either way, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see who's going to come out with a bang as we head to control on Nepal.
I get it.
Oh my goodness. The Lunatic-Hai fans out in force. We are packed in here right now, OGN Legion. So we are going to start off in Village.
We
here
are.
on Nepal.
So check out compositions here. Fine looking to start with this Zenyatta. Remember, when you look for flexibility in these two rosters, it's always going to be Pine who you want to be keeping a close eye on because, as you said, he started as main DPS. It's what he was famous for, but that was because of Flower's hand injury. Now he's subbing in for Luna, so he's taking more of the support role. If you look at his stats, you'll see he's about 50-50 in that way.
Yeah, we did see LW Blue experimenting with triple support compositions, which of course Lunatic-Hai were very, very good at as well. Of course, not on control necessarily. This is dominated by 2-2-2 at the moment, but very similar compositions. In fact, exactly the same as Yanis is almost dead already. Miro's going to be traded, so both of the Winstons now gone. And the mech is going to be taken out here on the side of LW Blue. So Lunatic-Hai already with a bunch of control here on this high ground.
Massive control there, taking the mech out and getting better position there, forcing everyone back into that choke point. Looks like Lunatic-Hai should easily be able to take the first cap here. And we've been seeing almost nothing but soldier play out of Eska, except when he's playing the Sombra. This is not a Sombra control map. It would be a different story if we were on Oasis, but keep an eye on Eska's Soldier today. Remember, one of the most inconsistent players in the league, despite being on the defending championship team. Definitely had a few oops moments in this tournament. And how well he plays tonight, maybe the defining point of Lunatic-Hai's play overall.
That is a good point, although a lot of those times have been on the Tracer as well, Wolf. You remember him tripping on his own Pulse Bomb earlier on. Now on the Soldier, a lot more comfort here for Eska. We'll see whether that's going to help him. As Sabioba goes down very low, good recall. Back out there. Miro, he's struggling with his health bar, but Mako is going to lose his mech.
Looks like this Tracer war going in Guido's favor, though. So they maintain control. Getting the first slip is always so important. You get an ult advantage from it almost every time, and they're going to win this exchange so far. Pulse Bomb not even needed here. Zabiobi's the one who gets the pick. Vegeta will force them back. Toby gets another kill here on Nemeko. The highest KD of all supports in this best of 5. He is by far the most kills, also the most deaths. He's a very aggressive Lucio player, but it works out in this case.
Yeah, but the ridiculous thing about Toby, especially in comparison to Gambler here, is Toby does 10% of his team's damage. Gambler does 6%. Both of them are the resident Lucios, so it's just crazy how much more aggressive Toby is on that pick, and he's going to throw down his ultimate now. High ground owned by LW Blue, but they have to get down to this point. It's up to about 70% as Eska throws in the tack visor, looking to grab those picks. Mirror is going to fall down to Flower, whose tack visor was also engaged over the other side.
And Meko still has that self-destruct available, which is a really key ultimate here. He's going to drop it right into the center. Guido, though, gets a pick on him before he can remag.
Yeah, Flower's going to be able to take down Toby, though. Is this going to be enough? Because it is only 1-for-1 as far as the players straggling around this point is concerned. Zumba's going to go down very low, loses the mech. Sabiobi's going to claim that one, but they're still unable to get anything going on. They're standing on this point. It's going to go into overtime. Lunatic-Hai looking at 100% to 0, but it is going to be LW Blue who are able to switch that one back, as Lunatic-Hai lost a few too many.
Using a lot of ultimates there. Lunatic-Hai, Eska's tack visor not as useful as Flowers. Toby also dropping the sound barrier a little bit early. They were so greedy. They wanted to win the fight early to just get the full first map. Unfortunately, since it didn't work, they're going to have to recontest. And they have a lot of time to work with here, Atlas. They could build up 6 ultimates to go for the big 6 push, so I don't actually mind them committing the ultimates there. They could have just won the map there. Now they've got second opportunity.
Yeah, nice defense matrix just there to eat up that pulse bomb that flew in from Sabiobi earlier on. Wasn't able to get too much done with the flank, but you got Lunatic-Hai ready to take over this point once again. It's only ticked up just past 30%. And it will be straight into overtime as we are so close. In goes the Transcendence. We've got Sound Barrier there at the same time. Ryujahong is the one that invested the Transcendence. LW Blue answer it with a support of his own. Yeah, nicely done. Flower throws in the tack visor and is able to get the work done, but they lose their main tank. And Lunatic-Hai now have the Sound Barrier, and we've switched it over. It's overtime for LW Blue, desperate on this point, and a massive wipe from Lunatic-Hai. They will take the first one. Village and Nepal still owned by Lunatic-Hai here in Season 3.
Way better ult management there in that last fight. The Transcendence came up first for Lunatic-Hai, and in panic mode, Flower dropped the tack visor into the Transcendence. Wasn't able to get kills until it finally wore off. He took Eska out of the fight right when Eska had the better time tack visor there. Had Eska survived, that would have been an even more one-sided fight. The Diva ultimate not only helped secure the mech, but picked off Gambler, removing a lot of the healing and dispersion, and that's when Guido was able to help carry that last fight. Guido's really stepped it up tonight. He was winning the Tracer battles against Sabil, but he was getting more consistent picks. And you could tell, Eska does not feel threatened. I think he died twice that entire round, as he's just been really well protected by Zumba and the pressure coming out from Guido.
Yeah, and another massive shout out to Toby as well. When that Transcendence went down, he had 80% charge. He got 20% in a matter of seconds, just shooting people with his fancy little gun. So, look, Toby still being the aggressive support that we know him for. And that sound barrier was so well timed to make sure that Lunatic-Hai could grab that. So now we'll see whether Lunatic-Hai are going to be able to make this a 2-0, whether LW Blue are going to give us a series here on control. Giannis already going down extremely low, and he's going to die. Sabiobi as well, picked off by Jaehong. Oh my god, the double kill.
Jaehong's accuracy.
Crit hungry on this Zenyatta.
His accuracy is solid. You could tell the collapsing of discorded members has been really good. The target selection for Lunatic-Hai, always punishing Giannis' aggressive dive-ins like this. And Jaehong building up to now nearly 70%, almost double that of what Pine has been able to do. They get the first capture, they have an ult lead now, and things are looking very grim for Luxurage Blue. They make the switch. Flower's going to switch over the Genji. So we're already seeing them trying to run a different dive style here, showing their flexibility yet again. Much more flexible than Lunatic-Hai, but they're going to need to make this work. Flower lost all of his ult charge to do this.
Yep. We'll see whether this is going to work. Feels a little bit like desperation though, Wolf, honestly. LW Blue not looking like they have a whole lot of answers. They didn't on Village. Now it was a very quick first 40% here for Lunatic-Hai, who were not challenged so far. Giannis once again going down extraordinarily low. Feel like there might be questions asked as far as the lack of practice. You get a collapse long, it's hard to play video games when you're in hospital, Wolf.
Sure. This was definitely an Escalol moment here with the attack visor usage. You want to get the kill onto the Tracer, failed to do so. So that kind of equalizes things. Flower now nearly with the Dragon Blade.
Didn't quite have the tracking, you'd say.
No, not quite. It wasn't as beautiful as you would have imagined. We're going to see a pulse bomb attempt onto him. The Transcendence is live. He gets taken out.
No.
The sick Helix Rockets there. That was a huge moment. That could have been the picks he was looking for.
He just put himself right in front of him. The Helix Rockets all too easy. As now Flower has the Dragon Blade looking for it. Lunatic-Hai immediately answer with that well-timed sound barrier, and he's not able to get anything layered on with a Transcendence to try and get LW Blue onto the point, but not quite enough to get any picks just yet. Self-destruct coming in. Flower, nice line of sight. Vegito's going to be able to take down Pine, and Lunatic-Hai still have the answers here.
Oh, Zumba with that perfect self-destruct to buy extra time there. The sound barrier you mentioned, Guido does go down. It's a 1-for-1 trade here. Zumba now fully healed up. Ryojung with another Transcension, building him so quickly on this first map, and that may very well just be it. There's the
layering
D-Mac.
of support ults is just so beautiful out of Lunatic-Hai. Eska throws in the attack visor just to try and lay claim to this point once again. Overtime, not going to be ticking down just yet, but it's only a matter of time as LW Blue are getting staggered and destroyed as they're kicked off. There it is, the 2-0 statement control.
And a lot of this comes down to Jaehong's accuracy. You
Oh,
talk
man,
about
hell yeah.
a player who's made massive waves with his sleep darts. Not as impressive when we're in a meta that's less Genji favored, but when you've got the Discord Orbs coming down, you're taking out Giannis when he dives in every time. You're getting consistent kills on Tracers. They're trying to pick you off in the backline. Then this becomes a terrifying situation where there are more Transcendences available as well. But you compare time played as well for Zenyatta. 17 minutes 45 for Pine, who's not a main support player, going into this match. Ryu Jaehoong's most played hero, 2 hours and 30 minutes. He's got 2 hours plus on this guy in this tournament alone. So when you compare these two supports, that's where they said the difference was going to be. That's what Guido said in the interview. Our strength lies in this best of 5 and the strength of our supports. And so far, it absolutely shows.
Yeah, supports and as well as coordinated play at the same time. Of course, these guys are the brains of the operation, but the fact that sound barriers were never overlapped with Transcendence. They always had Transcendence for the next fight, for the next time LW Blue were trying to collapse onto that point. They always had an answer, and while that Transcendence was coming in, you've got Toby shooting people and getting his ult charge back up, so that the fight afterwards, he's going to be able to grab himself a sound barrier. So now, we are going to have the attack pause coming in for LW Blue. Intelligent timing, making sure that after that first game, get that attack pause in, discuss exactly what went wrong, and try and regroup.
I think this is about mentality now. Look at this man in the striped shirt. This guy, not very well known in the Western scene. His name is Jitset. He was a former Brood War player, actually played a lot of televised Brood War matches. Then transitioned, built 2 Heroes of the Storm teams, and then moving into Overwatch, actually built one of the most successful Overwatch teams. 2 squads, Luxury Watch Blue and Red, that were very famous even in the first weeks of Overwatch competitive. A very smart coach, someone who's been around esports for a long time. And he's the one who made the decision to put Pine in instead of Luna. He's very confident in this decision. I don't think the failures of this first map lie within that decision. I think it goes back to what you were saying about coordination, usage of the ultimates. We saw the switch of Flower onto the Genji. Came in, couldn't pair the Dragon Blade with anything. The sound barrier came to meet it. After it was almost expired, that's when the Transcendence came out from Pine. Desyncing up the ultimates was a big issue in some of these fights where they needed to commit to the flips.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're thinking about what map to go to here as you go into the second map. It's a tough call. Lunatic-Hai's been really good on hybrid maps. I think avoiding Hollywood is definitely the way to go, though, because Hollywood's one where they've had definitely a lot of different types of strategies. The triple support, Eska running now so much Sombra.
Well, it's actually interesting that you say that because they are 3-3 on Hollywood. So, I mean, it is still a bit of a gamble for either side. I feel like in this situation, what LW Blue need to do is look for comfort, right? Don't look at what Lunatic-Hai have been doing. Just don't care about that. Try and get yourself onto a map that you feel good on, and you can try and get Giannis back into the swing of things. Of course, we know that he's the green light of this team, but he hasn't been able to play with the team. He hasn't been able to practice and scrim and things like that over the last few weeks because of medical reasons. So what you need to do is try and get yourself back into that zone together. Of course, they have been practicing over the last couple of days, something like that. Not exactly sure of the exact time frame that Giannis has had as far as spending time with his team, but it can't be long, because we only recently got the news.
I mean, this could be an opportunity for the Numbani pick. You take Numbani, you run your triple DPS. You've got Pine on the roster. You can flex the Soldier. You have the ability to run this very strong triple DPS where you're more successful with the triple DPS than Lunatic-Hai. I've only shown it a few times with the Soldier, mostly on control maps with Ryu Jae-hong switching over the Soldier. That's one strength they have. It's something we've seen them do before, specifically teching into that Numbani pick in the secondary group stage for the triple DPS Soldier push. So that's another opportunity. I still feel with how much Lunatic-Hai has prioritized Hollywood in map picks, even though, as you said, it's not a hyper favorite for them, I think you definitely want to avoid it. I think this is about getting morale high, though. Play a map you're very comfortable with, get that win, bring the morale back, bring the coordination back. Yeah. And you have to respect the early tactical pause. It says, okay, we got to get this momentum back right now. We're not waiting until later stages. We're not waiting until this series is already over.
Yeah, and you can see that there's nods coming out of the players as well. They know what they need to change. And Sebiolbi, of course, we know this guy as the Tracer player of Luxury Watch Blue. There is no the Tracer player on the side of Lunatic-Hai. We're looking at Sebiolbi to get his effect pants on, try and get his way into it, because he has been improving over the tournament. He sort of went from the 13th Tracer in the league, and then round of 8 saw him move up a few pegs, managed to get that KD working out for them. But Eichenwald is going to be the choice here from LW Blue.
For the first time, they've picked a second hyper map twice. They played Numbani, Eichenwald, and Hollywood for hybrid maps in the round of 8. So this will be the first time they have a repeat map pick. So changing it up quite a bit, avoiding that Hollywood. But because they've shown that triple DPS attack on Numbani so many times, perhaps it feels obvious to Lunatic-Hai. So we're going to see that Eichenwald come out here. Obviously with Guido on the roster of Lunatic-Hai, Genji is so important on this map because he has to play Tracer. There's no real Genji player on the side of Lunatic-Hai right now. That was who our use position. Genji's, yes, he's less common in the meta, but I feel like this is a map where you might have to see him. We'll see if Guido can swap over to that Genji because he's been underwhelming when you make the direct comparison to who are you.
That being said, his Tracer was looking good on control, so we'll see what happens as we head over to Eichenwald.
Get it.
Looks like the Lunatic-Hai fans have not fallen asleep after their initial victory there in Nepal.
Definitely not. Coming in full force will be Luxury Watch Blue with first attack.
Well, we'll see what they decide to go with here. Pine back onto his Sombra. I like this a lot. Going for the triple DPS like we were talking about. Like we said, they have far more the option of doing. Guido's running out on the Orisa. We'll see whether he actually decides to go with this, because we've seen this composition actually be utilized on Eichenwald before.
Gotta respect that barrier placement there on the high ground. I don't know if there'd ever be a situation where that was useful, but he knows how to hit it, okay?
That's one hell of a projection. You know?
Well, we'll see if they actually commit to the one support Jae-hong Anna with the Sombra, Orisa, Torbjorn.
No, there are like 2 pseudo supports here. Toby can throw out the armor, and Esker can go and make the health packs better. Like there's pseudo support coming out here. Don't necessarily have a soldier for the Bionic Field, but
I mean, 10 seconds to go. I think they're keeping it, so we are going to see this.
We have seen this before. This is like the double shield onto the turret, the immortal turret. Torbjorn's baby's going to be feeling pretty good behind a couple of nettings.
Putting all the eggs in one basket, though, against the really good dive coming out from Flower, fairly risky, but they have the confidence here. Toby's initial forward turret is taken out. So it's a good scout here for LW Blue as they approach the point. It's going to be on the low ground, not the high ground here on the corner. Also using the payload itself as somewhat of a barrier. So the most risky point is going to be coming from behind here. So they'll need to be able to realize that Lunatic-Hai, that is the weak angle.
The thing that's fantastic about this from LW Blue is that Pine Sombra is going to be so important. The fact that he's now already up to 48%, he can bust down those shields that they're going to be relying on so effectively with that EMP. And that's going to be already stacking all the way up to 70%.
it's going to be the moment, picking him off before he can use the EMP or responding accordingly, repositioning during the EMP. Those are going to be tools that Lunatic-Hai are going to have to utilize when that push comes down. 81% currently. Eska has the lead. It's going to be a game of who EMPs first in a moment and how the response comes in. With no Zenyatta's, there's no Transcendence to pair with this. There's no Transcendence before the EMP to make sure you get that heal off. Here comes from Pine first.
Yeah, Pine's going to be able to throw that one down. They immediately get the barrier in. Eska holds on to his EMP as well as Flower able to take him down before he can even use it. Not sure why he wouldn't just throw that one into the mix, but LW Blue now setting themselves up on this point. Flower going down very low, but keeps himself safe on that high ground. Pulls him back behind. Nano Boost as an emergency onto Zumba, but it does keep him alive, and Molten Core now comes in. Such an important defensive ultimate, and LW Blue peel away. They're just going to wait that one out. They are going to do so successfully as now Eska, he's going to make his way through invisible. Doesn't necessarily have the sight lines to get that EMP in the right position as LW Blue not quite back here at the point yet.
Well, this time LW Blue's going to have a lot more ultimates. The self-destruct can be paired with this. We're going to see Dragon Blades, Primal Rage. The last one was kind of an eco-ult push. Here comes the first EMP down here, but it's very early coming in on the side of Eska. Pine's still going to have his in just a moment to drop it down, but not going to be the time now with 3 kills already. The next push,
he was hacked!
The next push is going to be the deadly one.
Yeah, that was nicely done. So blocking the EMP with a hack was Eska, so nicely played by Lunatic-Hai. They will still have a lot of ultimates on the side of LW Blue to try and make their next push happen. But Eska should be able to charge up that EMP pretty quickly.
I think they have to hit now with this one. It's going to be basically the big 6. Only missing is the Pulse Bomb here. Flower with the Dragon Blade, the self-destruct still available. If they can't make this push work, I don't know if any push ever will. Here we go, Pine's going in. He's hit that EMP.
Self-destruct is going to take down the turret as well, so a big part of the game plan now missing. Flower holding on to his Dragon Blade as he's looking for his opportunity to use it. Guido does fall. As Eska's still trying to pick up some kills. Saebyeolbe off to the side, but Lunatic-Hai holding on. They managed to get all of these shields back on again as Saebyeolbe not going to be able to get through that EMP from Eska, and he's going to be taken out. No more dashes. But deals with it.
I feel like it's the ult usage that's a problem here again for Luxury Watch Blue. The huge opportunity for the Dragon Blade. He held on to it, as you said. Could have done a lot more with it. They're going to come in for a follow-up push here. This time almost completely dry right now. Do not Zumba out of that mech already.
They're trying to stagger him out by the looks of things, or he has just made it out of there.
Pulse
Gambler's going to be able to grab a kill. Saebyeolbe not able to get the kill with that Pulse Bomb. The sticky just not quite there as Miro taking a lot of damage as he makes his way back in. Molten Core comes out, and Toby should be able to gather some control, but he's going down very low. Lunatic-Hai losing their health bars like you would not believe, and LW Blue set themselves up on this point.
Big
huge Earth Shatter,
but
it's just a bit too late.
They get the cap.
Looked good though, Wolf.
It was a good Earth Shatter. It just didn't matter at the timing.
The Earth Shatter didn't matter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Earth Shatter no matter. So
no matter the shadow, they still got the point.
Not the best time bank for LW Blue to work with. They've switched Flower back over to the Soldier though. They want to run this more ranged composition, not wanting to stick with the Genji anymore. And with the ult usage we've seen from them so far, the pairing not so good for the Dragon Blades. I actually prefer this, even though perhaps the Genji would have been stronger in some cases. Going back to what works is the better way to think of this one. For the attack here, the EMP misses Flower.
Yeah, so he's going to be able to get the tac visor in there. Recall comes down, and that is going to be Flower taking out Eska. Just as a bit of an aside there, Saebyeolbe as well picking up some kills. LW Blue should be able to utilize this to try and get to at least that corner, possibly around. We all know that it's over that bridge that Lunatic-Hai want to make their last stand. The run back is just so difficult for LW Blue if they can hold the cart there. And LW Blue need the coordination. They need to get a wipe right up on this point so that they can actually tick it over to point A.
Interesting that we're still seeing Eska stick with the EMPs coming out. You're tougher to do on this long run back here. To see Saebyeolbe look for the kill here. Will be getting it along with Giannis there.
Yeah, really good 1-2 punch coming out as the Pulse Bomb comes in. Saebyeolbe actually just buying some space with that one, and Giannis is going to take down Miro. Looks like LW Blue are really feeling it right now as Giannis jumps his way out, just looking to try and peel for his backline. But they've got so much dispersion. Lunatic-Hai just look all over the place. They do manage to get a self-destruct in there, but it's knocked all
Oh,
the
the
way
sleep!
back out.
Still gets the EMP though.
Yeah, I'm just going to throw that one out. Eska right up in there as self-destruct is going to be able to take a mech down.
Gambler's taking names, man. He's trying to close the gap between him and Toby. We see this very late coming in. Primal Rage to buy time. They really want to hold this as their last Alamo. Toby gets the boop kill on the Gambler.
The backhands from Miro laying siege to this point, and if they... Oh, the pulse bomb! That's going to do it. Miro not feeling good about that, but we're still able to get a lot of work done. LW Blue now with this big run back that we were talking about, and it's 25 seconds on the clock. Lunatic-Hai have set up for this defense.
Really good ult usage there to stagger them to make sure they could get the one big defense. Now they have all respawned up. They're going to have Giannis with the Primal Rage soon, but nothing really else. Sound Barrier will be working.
No one has anything
If they can get the fight longer, they'll have the Sound Barrier, but so many more tools on the side of Lunatic-Hai because they committed that Primal Rage so well timed.
Yeah.
Already in the sleep.
Advantage here as well is so important as Eska gets rid of that mech. This could be very important. No defense matrix available here for LW Blue as Flower's going to fall down. Not a lot of peel. Sabiolbi is going to be able to get the defense matrix of his own on the side of Lunatic-Hai. And now LW Blue are picking up the kills. It's the bash off the edge from Giannis, who says, I am feeling a heck of a lot better. Just needed a warm up. And now he's got that sorted out. Oh, that was a big boot, but not able to quite get the kill as Miro's grabbed one.
They've committed so much, even the Transcendence used here to try to buy time. Almost the boop off onto Gambler. He survives, though. Comes back in. Sound Barrier used. They want this so bad, but Flower now coming in with the Dragon Blade. Gets EMP'd here, but it looks like this will be enough to secure finally the second point.
Yeah, EMP doesn't really matter. It just means he can't dash, can still slice up a couple of members of Lunatic-Hai.
Super, though, with the self-destruct, they are buying so much time. This could be a huge moment. Gets the kill into Flower midair.
Oh, that is ridiculous. And now they're able to pick up the kills. Jaehyun comes back with a soldier.
I can't believe it.
Heroes.
They hold this. This is insane. The insane hold. That was one of the best holds we have seen on this map all season long. Buying so much time. The Primal Rage comes out, buys enough time for several ults to be used. The Sound Barrier, Jaehyun survives with the Transcendence. Everyone comes in and gets those picks. One pick is worth 4 picks when you're in the situation with a long run back like this. And it felt like Luxury Watch Blue got a little bit excited using all their ults once again. And none of them could kill the Transcendence going off on Jaehyun. Jaehyun's just sitting there saying, well, I am Zenyatta, you don't have burst enough to kill me.
They almost got the boop onto him. He almost flew right off the edge of the stage, but the angle just wasn't quite enough. I believe it was Gambler that did it. The Primal Rage had just worn off there from Giannis, but it was a heroic attempt from LW Blue because making it any further than this is actually extraordinarily hard on this map. That is where you hold on Eichenwald, and Lunatic-Hai were almost unable to do it. So,
I mean, I was impressed, though, with the amount of times that they were able to stall in 2v6, 3v6 fights. That was an insane comeback there. Really well played. And they kind of put all their eggs in one basket, holding it because they knew if they just built a little bit more time, the long runbacks, which is how that works, were going to be in their favor. And I would completely assess with you the exact same you just said is, though they almost didn't do it, but at the same time, given the scenarios that Luxury Watch Blue had where they were so ahead in members, it's shocking they weren't able to complete.
Yeah.
And now we're going to see Lunatic-Hai's attack here. Eska walking in the Sombra already. We've seen so much of that on these hybrid maps.
You've seen no real change here from LW Blue. It's super standard 2-2-2, no funny business with Torbjorns or Orisas or anything like that. Like the way Lunatic-Hai decided to start off their defense. So LW Eska running very slow.
So Pine going to show his Ana now. We're going to see how well he plays this on defense with the double support here, the 2-2-2. Flower sticking with the Genji, not going to use that high ground soldier, wants to dive instead. Diving onto Toby here, Sabe will be a risky proposition with that bloodthirsty Lucio.
Oh, Flower's actually able to take down Jaehyun, but immediately answered. Pine is going to fall. They've traded some supports. Lucios are going to be the next targets. We'll see whether LW Blue are going to be able to hold this one off. Eska says no, as Giannis once again falls down. It's just not his day. Hasn't quite got himself back into the swing of things just yet, I don't think, Wolf.
I agree with you. He certainly had his moments, but he doesn't look to be in full form just yet on this second map. We're going to knock out of the mech here already. Meko.
The kills from Lunatic-Hai just streaming in. Sabiolbi does get Guido, so manages to prove himself in the Tracer off, but it looks like Lunatic-Hai are going to be able to tick this one up. LW Blue going to have to try and defend this push.
This is with Jaehong swapping now onto the Soldier. Eska not even using an EMP yet. He's about to have it here. Takes so long to build on attack comparatively to defense. He has it now. See if he can find the angle with his translocator up in 2 seconds. We'll just wait to push this around the corner first.
Miro is going to die first. May have jumped in a little bit early. Eska taking a heck of a lot of damage. Is going to be able to translocate back, but Flowers being able to get so much of this work done. Jaehong and Guido both falling down in this pseudo triple DPS comp that Lunatic-Hai have put together.
Jaehong going to stick with it though on the Soldier. We're not going to see the Eska swap until he drops the EMP if he wants to swap it at all. But Luxury Watch Blue have built up a healthy amount of ultimates here, and that card is just not rolling.
Yeah, and they don't need to use these ultimates. Remember, they're on the defense, and if they can hold it here, that is huge news. It was only 2 minutes for LW Blue to push forward. Last time the defense much better out of Lunatic-Hai. And Miro just going to be backhanding, folks. They are going to be able to at least get it through the doorway here side of Lunatic-Hai and now start pushing it forward. But like I was just saying, like 4 minutes, 20 seconds in comparison to what was 2 minutes for LW Blue.
Absolutely. Keep in mind, LW Blue didn't use any ults in that exchange, really. It was only Miro's very aggressive Primal Rage coming in, so very ult efficient for Lunatic-Hai here. They still have a lot of tools, and their ult efficiency has been much better. Their usage has been better all series long. Guido looking for the backline here, drops the pulse, will help finish off this mech as the EMP comes down.
Yeah, they are going to be able to get rid of the entire front line of LW Blue. This cart just looks like it's on rails, and they are not changing the speed dial.
If anything, they're turning it up.
Oh no!
And
I don't have a train set like that.
Guido is just looking for anyone who sticks their head out a bit too far, out of the rabbit hole here. Speaking of rabbits, that self-destruct available here from Echo now. He's looking for an angle to pop it down potentially here. Just going to drop into the back line right now.
Just trying to stop this payload from moving forward. He's going to get booped out of the way, get some decent damage in there as he's trying to defend. And LW Blue invest the sound barrier to try and get this one going. No Transcendence, remember, so sound barrier a whole lot more valuable from this LW Blue squad. They're not necessarily being able to get too much done. Now, finally, Flower gets a kill, and no D-Mech available, remech available from Mako. Zumba is going to see to him. A lot of damage is being done here from LW Blue, but losing your D.Va is so important. It's traded, it's a boot kill onto Zumba, so at least now no defense matrix for anyone.
The disruption that came out from Meko's self-destruct there was unreal. It was really well placed. It felt forced at first, but he finally found the right angle. The dispersion there meant that the synergy wasn't there on the defense, and that's how they ripped them apart without using that nano blade, which is now available. So there's definitely a very real possibility LW Blue can buy a lot more time here. We do see Ryu Jaehong switching back onto the Zenyatta now, which he's had so much success with, especially on control. It gets picked off already. Good target selection for LW Blue.
Yeah, massive dive actually out of the Winston Tracer combo. Good sleep onto Aska, who's going to be taken down. Pine, you know that he's able to hit these projectile shots. And LW Blue once again stave off Lunatic-Hai.
They're about to have a lot of tools, though. The EMP available. They have Primal Rage and Self-Destruct here. No support ultimates, but maybe not required here. Miro, of course, could benefit from a Transcendence if he wants to commit in with that Primal Rage. The Dragon Blade is going to be the big key here. They don't have a sleep for it. Maybe can hit the EMP to prevent it from happening. Prevent that sound barrier, that would be huge. Already though.
Yeah, and Miro is going to be taking a lot of damage from that Pulse Bomb. Not going to die to it, of course, and he's going to get healed back up sometime as there's the EMP coming out from Eska. They are able to get a few kills off the back of it as well. Sabiolbi not able to dash is picked off like food, and the whole front line now destroyed. Lunatic-Hai on the attack will easily be able to round this corner. And can they snowball this into a victory here at Eichenwald and get themselves to a set point?
3 key ultimates they're about to have here. The self-destruct they already have. The 2 support ultimates are about to be there. They can buy so much time. Luxury Watch Blue needs to get on this. Need to come in right now. Miro's looking to deny anyone who comes in. They're going to go from the right side here.
Oh, this is a huge deal for LW Blue. Fantastic positioning for the defense. Yeah, good sleep, but he's woken up immediately. Zumba takes down Giannis, and they are going to invest. LW Blue know that they do not have a whole lot of options, and Guido's going to get the kill on Pine. They're losing so much of their health bars, but Flower trying to answer back, and Gambler falls. This could be it for Lunatic-Hai as they're pushing forward, but LW Blue are still alive. Big boosts try and get them away. Oh, it was so close. The payload almost managed to cap that for Lunatic-Hai as they're pushing forward. There's still 40 seconds on the clock, but the run back is massive here for Lunatic-Hai.
Every kill super important here right now. The EMP, what yet again goes off. That's going to get the picks. There's
Oh,
the
the
boot
boobs!
kill, and this might be it. Transcendence to try to make sure they can push this all the way. Get it with another pulse bomb here, looking to burn through that damage.
Yep, the mech is on the point, but it gets thrown off, and there it is. No, not quite. As LW Blue are doing their very best, but look at that feed.
That's the last
That
part.
is
That's it.
all the kills for Lunatic-Hai, and they will go up to match point. LW Blue just not able to get themselves together.
The ult usage has just been superior from this team, and that and Jaehong's accuracy, not so much on the second map where he had to swap several times between the Ana and the Zenyatta, but what we saw there from LW Blue was a dive commitment off of the payload. They went so deep to try to stop Lunatic-Hai from even rounding the corner there. Then they found themselves trapped between the entire team and an EMP of Lunatic-Hai, and also the self-destruct that was on the other side. They got sandwiched in between there, and then suddenly Lunatic-Hai was able to snowball the kill feed. As you said, it was just painted their color. They were able to close it out eventually, just getting pick after pick after pick. The better delay tactics there by Lunatic-Hai. They had better tools. They decided to contest that last point on the payload itself. Luxury Watch Blue, they dove a bit too far.
Yeah, and of course, what LW Blue were failing to do was get any pick at all. And in the end, it was just the desperation run-ins. But at the start of that fight, Lunatic-Hai were just way too good at keeping everyone protected and managing to stave off LW Blue, because you need a massive man advantage to try and give yourself time to let the respawning members get in. If you have a trade that, even if it goes in your favor, it's just so much further to run. And the fact that they were getting the kills staggered as well, each of these LW Blue players just could not find their way for a victory, and they look scattered, Wolf.
They really do.
Unfortunately, it's just not the LW Blue that we were looking for, the clean play. We are going to go to a short break. When we get back, ladies and gentlemen, Lunatic-Hai on set point to move into a match against Afreeca Freecs Blue. Don't go anywhere.
언제 어디서나 깔끔하고 상쾌하게.
이런 게 트래비 스타일.
Stylish sparkling water. 트래비.
As a full-time streamer, my computer has to keep up with everything I do, all my streaming applications and the Twitch chat at the same time as the game. The Core i7 allows me to really concentrate on my viewers and my community.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Apex Season 3. I am still Atlas, still joined by Wolf, and we've got Lunatic-Hai 2-0 in this series. Seems like even if you don't have Who Are You, you're still the champions of Season 2, and Lunatic-Hai looking fantastic today. LW Blue, on the other hand, just looking in a bit of disarray. Yanis not quite being able to find his old form.
Well, this is a bit disconcerting considering that, as I said, going into this best of 5, it's important for LW Blue to take the first few maps, or at least do as well as on them as they can. Take one of the two perhaps, because Assault is historically, recently, Lunatic-Hai's best map type and LW Blue's worst. So that's not going to be good feels going into this third one. And then, you know, Escort's not a very strong map type for LW Blue either. Not one of the strongest for Lunatic-Hai, but they often end series before we even get to that fourth map. So they may do this just the same here.
But Assault is the Lunatic-Hai beginning of all of their reverse sweeps. We know Lunatic-Hai, incredible reverse sweep team. They don't need to here. They just need to win the map that they often win under the most pressure possible. Like, if there is ever a comfort moment for Lunatic-Hai, it is most certainly now. The thing that's so important here for Lunatic-Hai right now is that the spotlight isn't on Eska. It's not on Giddo. The spotlight, as far as the players that are performing, is on Miro's Winston, which has been absolutely incredible so far this series, and, you know, the supports in Toby and Jehong, who are just incredibly good.
This is a risky pick against Lunatic-Hai, who's prioritized Volskaya over other maps, have been showing so much priority on the Sombra for Eska, so to pick this one here for Luxury Watch Blue means probably they think they have a counter to how Lunatic-Hai is playing on this one, because you're picking it because you think it's a weak map for them. I think you're mistaken, as it's been a very strong map for Lunatic-Hai in this new meta. Now they've got Eska on the Sombra. This is a scary choice. Hoping they've got a plan here. If they're just going to throw standard play at this one, I think it might not stick.
Yeah, I think a lot of this comes down to them wanting to utilize Pine Sombra as well. We know that this is a map where You know, Chips went completely ballistic on, almost managed to hard carry for EnVyUs when they were utilizing that Sombra.
Taimu as well.
Yeah, both of them, I mean, in different series.
Sure.
Able to utilize that one hero. Try and change things around, and Pine very, very good. So I don't know, LW Blue, they're going to have to pull a rabbit out of a hat, Wolf, as they desperately try and hold on Assault.
I get it.
Oh my goodness, the passion from this crowd here in the Soli Stadium. As we move to Volskaya and LW Blue, hopefully the booth is as soundproof as we think it is, Wolf, because otherwise that could have been a little bit demoralizing.
Well, you know, you might feel the ground shake as you feel the Lunatic-Hai fans cheer and stamp their feet in the stands here. So the map pick here for LW, again, I feel a risky one. They will be on attack first as Lunatic-Hai will take defense. Eska already walking in that zone, but we know that's not going to change, and they're going to stick with the comp that's been working. The difference between Tracer play between Guido and Sabilby, it's been more defensive play from Guido, who's trying to punish the aggressive play of Giannis and Meko, whereas, unfortunately for Sabilby, his aggressive style isn't working when there's no peel, when Giannis is going down first in many of these fights. Sabilby isn't able to find those back targets, and with the accuracy of Ryu Jae-hong and Toby, who's so good in the 1v1s, even against Tracer, his more aggressive flanking style hasn't been very successful. They're going to stick with that. They're going to have Flower on the Genji, and they're going to have Pine flexing over to that Soldier. We've seen him play so many times.
Yeah, it's such an aggressive composition coming out from LW Blue. Try and get as much damage in there as they possibly can. Exactly right. So whether they are going to be able to get there, whether it's going to be relying on ult charge or whether they just want to try and surprise Lunatic-Hai right now.
Well, this has been a style to take the high ground here and go around against Sombra play. LW Blue actually made this style. This is their own style, and they invented it. Others have popularized it. This is their trademark push. They're going to try to make this work. Sabilby already with the pick on the Jae-hong finally gets that back pick he was looking for.
Yeah, that actually could be very, very important here as they have taken claim to this all over to the side, which has been so important. The hacked health pack definitely there for Eska, who throws in the EMP. And Miro is able to get Sabilby as he can't dash around. Guido gets the mech. Lunatic-Hai should be able to hold on here.
Yep, Giannis just going to suicide there. Toby gets the technical kill. Better for his KDA, I suppose. Eska won't be so lucky to get that finishing blow there.
Okay, we'll see whether LW Blue actually decide to change up the composition at all. Flower, he's extraordinarily low. That's 5 health.
Yeah, you just want to build up the support ultimates a little bit faster. That's why he's not going to go in. So I'm going to give that faster sound barrier to Gambler. And Eska nearly with that EMP here would be a huge tool for them. They're about to have 6 ultimates for the defense.
Guido gets himself round the side. LW Blue throw in that sound barrier that you were talking about being built up. They're still losing their health bars very, very quickly. Guido almost untouches. Miro grabs himself a double. Make that a triple. This guy, when it comes to finals time, when it comes to clutch moments, it's all about Miro for Lunatic-Hai.
And, you know, we make the joke of the X6 run it down left, but it feels like LW Blue is trying to run it down right. And they've done it every single time here. This push that they trademarked feels so obvious to Lunatic-Hai. They prepared against this potential push. They know how to deal with it. And in that choke point, Miro is there to do the AoE damage. They didn't have to use any ultimates there to defend besides Eska's EMP, which is going to have another one here right now.
Yeah, Flowers actually, yep, discorded and destroyed. That was actually the fire grenade. He's going to have to go back home.
Oh man, this feels bad for LW Blue, having to spend so much time regrouping.
Now they, I guess, do have a few ultimates, but you look over the side of Lunatic-Hai, there are a lot of blue circles that they have available to them. Just the sound barrier that Toby's working towards. You know how quickly he can build that one up as well.
Yeah, especially because he's so accurate on the hero. All right, we're going to run it down right again, this time only with the dive here of the Tracer, the Winston. Looking for the upper high ground pick onto the Ana player. But Eska's ready for the EMP. It's a good one.
Yeah, throws that one through. Good barrier timing there from Giannis. Does manage to get that one down just before it came in, so it didn't even get broken, but doesn't actually matter as Lunatic-Hai able to get so many of these kills. Gambler just launches himself over the side as LW Blue desperately want to have another opportunity to get this push done. It's looking more and more like a full hold here for Lunatic-Hai.
Yeah, Sabiolbi scratching his shoulder there, frustrated, unable to find anything. This flanking style here, and Lunatic-Hai is just meeting them head on. The only flank for them really is Eska coming around the backside, hitting those EMPs when they get into that narrow choke point. Stormba play countered by this back in the past, but right now it looks much stronger because of the narrow corridors that LW Blue are trying to force here on the running down right side.
Well, Flower all close to getting knocked off the edge as Giannis is able to grab at least the first kill onto Toby. Dragonblade comes in, it's almost all invested into this monkey who just primal rages. Not going to be able to get anything done with that big sword as Miro's even able to get the kill onto Flower. King Kong doesn't care about your samurai sword, buddy. The barrier comes in, LW Blue are able to get a few kills back now, so the mech is going to fall and they do finally get themselves onto the point.
In overtime here, the kill onto Eska early on was quite huge. He was the first to fall in this fight, couldn't build the EMP. Looks like they're willing to just let this go. They don't have the ultimates to stall time like we saw on Ike involved, so they will just back off and regroup here. LW Blue had to use a lot of resources to take this, and they have the smallest time bank possible here of 4 minutes granted. They want it in overtime. So Lunatic-Hai, they wanted the full hold obviously, but they got the next best thing.
Yep, so Lunatic-Hai back on the defense once again. We'll see whether they are going to change up any compositions, anything like that. Looks like they're pretty happy with what's going on, as already LW Blue trying to get this high ground position. Echo just peeling the moment.
Echo's hacked here, of course, will be falling out of the mech quite soon. This looks like this is going to be the first push held. Yep. They've got a lot of time here to do some eco pushes, build up those 6 ultimates.
That was basically just an EMP that Eska used. Said, all right, everyone just kill them all.
Well, considering that's the fastest charging ult in the meta right now, he's probably going to feel pretty good about that. Very cost-efficient defense for Lunatic-Hai. Azumba builds up that very important self-destruct, the Primal Rage. These tools both support ultimates available here.
Yeah, and they do have this Nano Monkey that they can throw in if they want to. Giddo takes some decent damage, but still has that recall. As Sabi will be looking for this flank once again. They've been dealing with this guy's Tracer so well. Outside of Lunatic-Hai.
The more defensive approach has been working very well. We see the Pulse Bomb here is taken out immediately by Zumba. He does end up losing the mech regardless. It ends up being a pretty good trade for them as they stave this off.
Some kills traded, but nice damage onto Giddo. He's not able to get that consistent work done anymore. Mako's going to move himself around, but Lunatic-Hai, I mean, there's no run back here for these guys. Hack comes in. Eska still holding on to that EMP, waiting for more members of LW Blue to even make it here, to make it worth his while. Jaehong is actually going to fall down, so finally the EMP comes in, and still just a beneficial trade here for Lunatic-Hai. LW Blue just don't have the coordination, it seems. Trying to get this push working at this particular stage.
Finds EMP much less effective, obviously, there, and that was one of the big trade-offs. The Pulse Bomb users there for, say, Byobi, he wanted the big one. It only really knocked Zumba out of the mech. It was a trade they were willing to take because so much intense motion was taken by LW Blue to get into that thick corridor there. They used so much of their DPS on Zumba, and then the rest of the peel was there. Miro got the nano boost coming out later on. Fine's going to have another EMP here soon, but so much time was already bought. 4 minutes now down to 90 seconds.
Well, Sound Barrier does come in from LW Blue. They're looking for this one, but Jaehong is just going to block them off. Flower now trying to get something happening. Jaehong does fall, so Dragonblade invested just to try and get him down, and Miro's going to be able to answer this with the kill onto Gambler. Now Sound Barrier comes out for Lunatic-Hai. Jaehong's going to be back in the mix very soon, but they may lose the mech, and Lunatic-Hai just don't care about it. So they're just going to be able to pick up all the kills that they want.
And they committed to the Dragonblade with the Sound Barrier there. Mei coming out, an unusual pick for Ryu Jaehong here, but it ended up doing wonders for them, splitting the composition in half. And after they lost a few heroes, they still committed to that double heroic, or rather double ultimate, with the Dragonblade, the Sound Barrier, and less tools available now. They're going to have the EMP, the self-destruct. Maybe they can make this combo work. Primal Rage can buy time. But you've already got a really nice setup here for Lunatic-Hai. They've got the EMP, and they have the Mei time buying with the Ice Block. This is going to be one hell of a push for LW Blue if they want to complete point B.
Well, Pine does find himself the hack onto Esker, and they get rid of him as well. Easy out there from Pine at the same time. So Flower able to utilize it, hopping over to the Soldier there as well. LW Blue do have an opportunity, but self-destruct comes in. Neko going to try and jump back into that mech. Zumba is going to be able to grab that. Skiddo picks up the kill in the end, so no Diva. But
so
LW Blue are able to get some of these kills in. Miro, very, very healthy, but he's losing that health bar very, very quickly.
Didn't get to use a self-destruct either. He had it available, but he lost his mech right at 99.999% right there. He's going to have to wait for the respawn here. They need to buy time. Toby's already dead. This could be the cap.
They are picking this one up. Yeah, Esker used the invisibility to try and get the work done, as now we've got an ice block sitting on this point. Remember, we talk about these runbacks all the time, and LW Blue needs to make quick work of this as everyone is jumping back and forth. The Diva gets his way back, but they boop him off. And finally, you do actually have Toby jumping back onto this point. Miro survives for a little bit of time, but the barrier's not enough to save him.
Blizzard's available. They need to buy some time to use it here. Guido can come in and delay a little bit longer. Jaehyung wants to use that Blizzard really effectively here.
How are Lunatic-Hai so good at these staggered engages? Jaehyung gets himself in there. Good timing on the ice block as well, as Guido grabs the pick onto Pine. Every pick is so important, as Flower does punish Jaehyung, but Guido's still there getting the work done. Yanis eventually answers, and the mech falls on the side of Zumba, who eventually goes down. But this is so close to capping for LW Blue, who are looking for the completion. Mako takes down Toby, but it's still being held on to.
It's buying a lot more time here, buying enough time for that Mei to respawn. Taken out here. Actually, this time he went back onto the Soldier. Wanted to have the swap here. Guido's buying so much time. This is insane.
Yeah, Zumba jumps his way on and doesn't even get booped, as he does have that charge forward.
And here comes the EMP. This could be the defense.
So good at this. It is just ludicrous. Gambler's able to get some of these kills, and
the cap.
finally the cap comes in. You dare to believe every time it goes into overtime on a Lunatic-Hai defense, you think, how is this so difficult for this team to cap? But finally, it's LW Blue that's able to get the 2 points on Assault on Volskaya.
Not a whole lot of smiles on the faces of Luxury Watch Blue, knowing they had to do this in overtime. And with ult advantages and also kill advantages in that initial fight, they struggled so much. You could feel the frustration there. They buy themselves more time in this tournament with this second cap here. Going to make it a lot tougher for Luxury Watch Blue, or sorry, for Lunatic-Hai. Too many L's here in this Festive 5. But Lunatic-Hai can't feel too bad about this one. They had a really solid defense there. Also forced the overtime capture on point A. If they can just do a little bit better, they'll go into the tiebreaker rounds with an advantage. Really cool to see Jaehyung swap into the Mei, though. Did a lot of work there with the Blizzard especially. Almost secured them the defense.
Yeah, it was very cute. Also loved his first initial wall. Created a really horrible time for Flower on his Genji. He actually immediately switched off that as soon as he saw the Mei. Now LW Blue setting up for their defense.
Going to be a similar one here.
Yeah.
Flower on the Soldier, though, and Pine will be running the Sombra, so it's going to be the triple DPS solo support Gambler here. Could argue Pine's a pseudo support with the health packs he'll be giving his teammates. Taking a little bit different of an approach with how they flex it, whereas Lunatic-Hai keeps Eska, who's normally the Soldier player, on the Sombra, so brings the 2-2-2. Don't think Zumba will be sticking with the McCree, but I'd love to see it.
On attack, I just don't ever want to talk about attack compositions until they're actually moving out. Well, you know, because we get trolled so often.
That we do.
My heart is easily broken when it comes to some of these hero picks.
So let's see how hyper-aggressive, say, Bilby wants to be with Giannis, especially now that they only have the solo support. Will Giannis get burned down first in these fights?
Well, they're running it down right, Wolf.
Yes.
Got some health pack hacks coming in from Esker, just trying to build that EMP as quickly as possible. But it looks like Lunatic-Hai setting themselves up and moving far more as a unit than we saw from LW Blue.
Okay, first pick is onto Giannis here already. As expected, this really good defensive usage here of target selection by Lunatic-Hai to punish him when he dives in.
Mira's positioning is just so fantastically good as well, as LW Blue are the ones that are able to grab some picks. The support cast all falling for for Lunatic-Hai, and they're going to have to go back to the drawing board. This triple DPS actually working for LW Blue quite nicely if they can get to that backline effectively. So they certainly showed that they can.
Yeah, they definitely had a better run of it this time with the triple DPS. Pine's holding on to that very important EMP. Eska finds himself only at 31%. More difficult to pull this off on attack, as you don't have the benefit of those health packs their teammates are using non-stop. So, only 3 minutes we're talking about here. LW Blue certainly could pull off the full hold if something doesn't change here for Lunatic-Hai. Here's going to be the EMP attempt. No real grouping, though, for Lunatic-Hai, so it's struggling to find the right angle, trying to find an opportunity.
Kongdoo actually looking for this, but Sabiolbi's going to stop him from being able to do too much. Giannis is in here, and look at the space that Guido's buying for his team. Taking a lot of damage, but gets back to everybody else, and Guido has honestly impressed me.
Okay, so this is the way you do it. Sneaky EMP coming from behind. No one was aware of his positioning there. Gets several, but where are the picks? Where are the kills?
Just zero follow-up opportunities as the Nano comes out, I believe. Jaehong just nanos up his monkey. He's going to be able to get some work done. Giannis is able to at least answer with that one, but look at Miro. He takes down Flower. Eska deals with Mako.
Teleports into that pulse bomb, unfortunately, with the translocator there. Unlucky.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate one. Trust Eska.
Trust Eska. Just Eska things, man. Well, the Primal Rage is committed to here for Luxury Watch Blue. They want to try to hard hold this, using this to buy time, but it doesn't look like it's going to be worth it. That's one ultimate wasted here on LW Blue. The coordination falling apart just a little bit. With that translocator EMP coming out from Pine, it's one of the plays that looks like it's about to start off a highlight reel, right? Where you have this amazing angle. No one sees him, but it felt like he didn't tell anyone about it. He didn't tell anyone about it.
Yeah, it felt like literally no one saw him.
And the team wasn't ready.
Included, yeah.
The team wasn't ready to use that, so that was the big ultimate. That was the big shot in the dark for Pine. Looked like an incredible angle. Got so many members, at least 3 there, but no one was ready to capitalize, so ends up being a flop in the end.
Yeah, well, Lunatic-Hai just had their support cast in such good positioning. Miro takes down Sabiolbi here as well. So Lunatic-Hai looking for this push forward. They want to have the superior time bank on this point, as LW Blue are already losing everything that they had. Flower switches over to the Mei here as well, as we'd seen. Pine's actually able to grab himself the kill under the frozen monkey.
Yep, does get that out, but does go down before he can utilize his EMP. Ticks coming in here for Lunatic-Hai. Zumba has that self-destruct. They're holding strong so far, just keeping these
they got to the second tick here as well. So Lunatic-Hai setting themselves up so well, and they've still got 4.5 minutes to go, and they're getting extended picks.
EMP, not the greatest one ever. The sound barrier here to match it as well.
But Lunatic-Hai are just stalwart on this point. Eska throws in the EMP. LW Blue were able to get some picks beforehand, though. That is good news. And Eska able to throw out a full big clip, actually, untouched in the start of this fight. Remember, the runbacks for LW Blue are far nicer. As Lunatic-Hai going to back away and start this one again, but
they got 2
that's,
ticks.
That's 2 ticks. That's fantastic here with 4 minutes to work with.
They got 2 ticks. You see Jaehong switching back into the Mei yet again, showing the flexibility tonight. Pine, we thought, was going to be the more flexible of the support players since he's ex-DPS, but Jaehong has been definitely showing us some flexibility, switching into the Soldier. Now it's going to be the Mei. So Mei on Mei action here. It's been a long time in the Overwatch meta to actually see that. So obviously Lunatic-Hai with a large time pool to work with and a much easier cap than LW Blue. So despite the fact they used a lot of resources there, they can build up these ultimates again.
Yeah, you can see why Mei as well is useful if they can actually break onto this point on the attack. See what the Lunatic-Hai can actually do. So as Miro's already taking a lot of free damage before they get in there, but they have moved their way up to this point at least. Guido does get the stick onto the mech, so they should be able to deal with that one as Miro takes down Gambler. This could be a massive moment as half the team of LW Blue has already fallen down. Lunatic-Hai, remember, only 1 tick is necessary
the
to try
headshots
and
here.
get this. This is massive. The right click's coming out from Jaehong, who's just showing that he was doing it already on the Zenyatta. It doesn't matter who he's playing. They've got ice walls, and that is going to be a massive time bank advantage moving into the tiebreaker.
And finally,
for Lunatic-Hai.
we see the shift of Guido. He goes in, he's for the first time really hyper-aggressive. You could tell the coordination there. The game plan for Lunatic-Hai was to knock Meko's mech out. His mech's gone. There's no way the Blizzard misses. Can't be eaten. Can't be defense matrix. So you take the D.Va out of the fight. Good coordination there. The D.Va overextended on the high ground. Find that pick first. Blizzard goes down. Right clicks get easier. Saw him get the amazing right click on the Sabilby. And from that point forward, Blizzard already at play. The ice wall's coming out. Jaehyung, yet again the playmaker here. This time on a defensive hero on the Mei. But that knockout of the mech was huge, and now they have a massive time bank lead, 248 to work with.
Yep, they are going to be attacking here first. Remember, they only need to get to that first tick. Take this one out. Cool. Such an advantage for Lunatic-Hai. LW Blue, their hopes of remaining in this tournament are on the line right here. 5 teams has to go down to 4 today.
No one really thought this series was going to be one-sided. People were worried for Lunatic-Hai when they heard that Who Are You was not going to be on the starting roster. But as you said, it turns out this team is a team of champions still. They're going with the triple DPS yet again. Luxury Watch Blue. Stick with what they're comfortable with here on the defense.
The main point is that they are an actual team. LW Blue haven't been playing like that. Unfortunately, this time around, they just haven't had the coordination the Lunatic-Hai have demonstrated. Guido is showing that he is feeling more and more comfortable as we move forward. Took a lot of damage there, but still holds on to that recall.
Scary moment here.
Panya.
Does get away. Translocation, as you said. Guido just light harassment, but again, mostly defensive positioning here. Waiting for that Giannis dive in to try to punish. But because of this, Flower's given a lot of room to work with. No harassment, no pressure. Even feels comfortable to drop onto the low ground here. Okay, here's that punishing play I'm talking about. Knocking Giannis out when he comes in. Yep. Meko's down as well.
Double frontline, both missing from this fight here as LW Blue desperately try to hold on, but they lose Flower. They lose a lot of the damage. Their positioning is decent here, but they've made it onto this point. Big EMP flies forward, but the Divas are going to trade lives. Sabiolbi's going to fall.
They're almost got the cap.
The aggressive Lucio is going to do it, and that's going to be Lunatic-Hai moving on to face Afreeca Freecs Blue in the semifinal.
Sad story here for Luxury Watch Blue. The underdogs in terms of fans, right? They were not the fan favorites. They had the crowd cheering against them. They said they wanted to meet Lunatic-Hai in the finals, but it's in the round of 8 where they fall. Losing on the map where they popularized the run-down right strategy to counter the Sombra, but they couldn't make it work the way that Lunatic-Hai did. The more aggressive play from Giannis, who just recovered from his injury, coming in, didn't feel like the team was as coordinated because he was simply hospitalized. He wasn't sitting in a hospital bed practicing. No, he wasn't. So coming in here, definitely the more aggressive play style from Giannis got punished by the defensive tracer play that we saw coming out from Guido. And I think that was the big shift for Lunatic-Hai tonight for Guido. No longer just trying to be the playmaker, diving deep with the Genji. A more defensive tracer today, really counteracting the aggressive play style Meko and Giannis. And we saw it there in the end. Meko and Giannis both get taken out there as they dive too deep. And that was it. That's all she wrote for Luxury Watch Blue. Still that elusive Apex Finals for them just feels a little bit further away now.
Yeah, each season gets harder and harder by the sounds. It was the semi-final that they fell down in Season 2, and now not even able to make it to that particular point. Of course, quarters is definitely a good idea. I mean, a good story to take home and tell you folks and things like that, but you don't want a round of 8 finish. You want either that top 4 finish. You want that #1 spot here in Apex. And Lunatic-Hai, of course, the challenges continue after this point. This was an LW Blue that was somewhat hamstrung. They did get their full roster back, but Giannis did not look like the player that we were expecting moving in here. LW Blue had a really easy run in the round of 16. Their group was not all that challenging. They had teams like Flashlux that they were rolling over, honestly, but they still looked like they were doing it in style.
I think you have to give credit to Jaehyung here as well. His flexibility onto the Ana looked really good.
Onto the Mei as well was fantastic.
That's what I meant to say. The Ana was like less of a flexible pick for him, but for Lunatic-Hai, I feel like this is a glimmer of hope. They were able to beat Luxury Watch so dominantly, even without Who Are You, with the defensive tracer play from Guido. The shifting here means that maybe, even though people were worried, people were saying, without Who Are You, there's no way they go to the finals. This is a glimmer of hope that shows that with Guido, he's able to adapt his play style, and they can beat such a strong team as Luxury Watch Blue. So if you were worried about this team making that grand finals, as many fans in this very studio were, perhaps you feel a little bit more comfortable after watching the dominant performance this evening.
Oh, yeah. And the way they answered Saebyeolbe as well throughout this entire series was just stunning. We've mentioned the fact that, you know, he is the Tracer one trick. He's the one that wants to be getting the work done. As far as damage share for his team, he's sitting on 25% when you don't have that dedicated harass bot on the side of Lunatic-Hai. But if you stop him from getting that done, where does that quarter of the damage that you're relying on come from? Like, where do you get that from?
You're just a neutered team at that point, and when you're trying to dive the back line that's so well protected, not only by Guido, who played defensively, but also a more defensive Miro, you find a lot of difficulty. Not to mention the accuracy of Jaehong's Zenyatta. You try to dive that Zenyatta, you might get burned. Trying to fight Toby, you might get booped. So
he wasn't even hacked as well, by the way, at the beginning on Nepal, just firing those right-click crits into his face. Like, man, Jaehong, when he is on, he is on. We've had question marks for him throughout this season. There were times where he was getting himself flanked, finding himself out of position, couldn't handle bird rings harass, things like that. But it looks like their answers to this Tracer play absolutely fantastic. And we are going to have a look at the play of the game, and of course it goes to Miro.
Miro, I think everyone remembers this one. When they ran down right, he was ready. So much AoE here. Basically cleaning up the kills. The hack comes in, and that is it. Knocking them all off to the side there.
See you later, everyone. Of course, that was the masked seppuku at the end to try and get the reset happening. But
he got the kills technically in the game, so it gave him the play of the game. But that was what we were talking about, trying to force it. Their strategy, they trademarked going down right on that map, and Lunatic-Hai had the answers every time. It's a 3-0. Not the 3-0, not the dominant performance we expected. I thought this was going to be a lot closer of a series.
Yeah, I thought the defense put up by LW Blue was going to be much better. Now with Giannis back on the roster, even with the switch out of Luna in favor of Pine, I felt that Pine had flexed really nicely over to his support play, had even been doing that prior to the collapsed lung of Giannis as well, and it was looking very good, although that was against CONBOX Spirit. Just didn't really find the coordination that LW Blue had worked towards.
I feel like Luxury Watch Blue and Lunatic-Hai were both put in the face of adversity with who are used, disciplinary problems, or whatever is really going on there. And Luxury Watch Blue having Giannis, hospitalized, obviously, unfortunately, health is more important than video games. So to have him back here today and Lunatic-Hai having Guido step it up, I feel like they both teams overcame adversity, but it felt that Lunatic-Hai was the ones that came out on top, with Guido just really stepping it up today.
And Guido didn't look like he was sort of on his own trying to make the sick plays, which is what Guido felt like, especially with that sort of heroic failure on Dorado.
Semifinals are here, man. These are our matchup. This is the round of 4. The Freecs will face off against Lunatic-Hai on our first match. That'll be this Friday. Then our second will be Kongdoo Panthera against EnVyUs.
This is going to be massive. EnVyUs have such a difficult test, but we could have the Season 1 champions versus the Season 2 champions in the grand final, theoretically. That means that Afreeca Freecs Blue need to learn how to lose, and Kongdoo Panthera need to stop going on a tear. Of course, they were able to take down Lunatic-Hai. They were able to take down LW Blue. Kongdoo Panthera are looking better and better as we move into this tournament.
Not to mention that matchup we could have between Season 2 and Season 1, but the Season 1 rematch of Afreeca versus EnVyUs is also a possibility, so could be time for the Freecs to get their revenge. They were completely swept in that grand final 4-0. So this is the Friday matchup. It's going to be here at the same time, same place, just on Friday. So 7 p.m. KST, mark your calendars to see if the Afreeca Freecs are going to another grand final, or if it's going to be Lunatic-Hai, defending champions, who have an opportunity to defend their title. The Freecs have not dropped a single map this season. It would be amazing if they could actually go through with a clean sweep, a perfect record. It's never happened before at Apex.
Yeah, and I just want them to get to an escort map so I can watch you analysts try and analyze any sort of play on an escort map, because they haven't done it yet. That is just flat out what happens when you don't ever go to a game number 4. They're going to try and wait until that grand final before the game number 4 comes in, because of course they have to play it, because it's a best of 7. Afreeca Freecs look extremely dominant, but Lunatic-Hai, if they play like they did today, man, that semifinal is going to be so high.
Both of the semifinals can be really, really good. EnVyUs, the hope of the West. There's so many different narratives to talk about, but I don't want to do it now. I'm going to wait until the time where we're going to have that cast coming forward.
Exactly right. So that is going to be it for us today. We'll see you guys on Friday.
이것도 너프의 도시지.